Okay. We're alive.
We're actually live?
Oh, actually, are we? Yeah, we're live. All the way live.
Is this not live?
On a different one then.
Okay.
We're live right here. I think. Connecting. We're live. Yeah, we are live. Okay. Hello.
Hello. How you guys feel with me? Okay, we are here to talk about things we dare not talk to our kids about. You know how people say back in the day, don't want to talk to your kids about sex because they make them not have sex. You don't talk to your kids about this because they're making this.
Oh, the pictures and stuff.
Don't you like that Bruno Mars?
He does.
What? Chunky, look at my chunky.
Her neck is a little low.
Okay.
Sorry, looking at my grandbabies. I was looking for another grandbaby, but and I have it in this. This is a big old envelope for this.
Yeah. Just that one little item.
That's what we do in this family. Sometimes we like to talk about things that we don't want to talk to our kids about because it's no. So, it was funny because in my head I was talking to myself and I said, Self, and Self said, yeah, you know, people have a problem like in relationships. And like, what you mean? And like, you know, some people who've been married for a long time in the relationship, what's the difference when you start a relationship to end a relationship? And Self said, good question. So I want to see what the young people have in their mind, so I can then say, hey, something I never thought about. What is wrong with these kids?
Starting and ending a relationship?
Yeah, because normally you guys start questions, so I'm saying.
Yeah,
so what is
you
the
start
difference?
with a question.
Yeah, I'm starting this week with a
Okay.
question. So what is different from, like, when you start a relationship to people who've been in a relationship a long time and then want to break up or get a divorce? What makes that, what makes you want to break up? What makes that end a relationship? From, I want to be with you all the time to, I don't want to ever see you again.
Oh, so you're saying like, you know, what goes wrong?
Pretty much.
After you're so infatuated, what goes wrong?
Yes.
In a relationship.
In a
Okay.
relationship. Thought process.
Yeah, so I mean it's kind of broad since it is relationships, but I feel like there's numerous things. Maybe there is that person changing and or wanting to grow, and the other person not feeling that type of way. You know, some people want to stay stagnant. Some people want to, you know, they're comfortable where they at. Whereas some people, you know, they may reach a certain point in their life and they self-reflect or something, and you know, something new happens, like they want to go travel and the other person is not really into that. Or they want to go do this or start this big venture and the other person's not on the same track, then it kind of, you know, it's a desync in the relationship and it kind of can cause problems. But there's multiple reasons. You know, it could be something really simple.
Yeah.
You know, depending on the duration of the relationship, probably not for marriage, but if it's, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend type of thing, just kind of falling out of love, I guess. I mean, some people.
But how do you fall out of love?
Some people just get tired of people, you know. Like really, you just get tired. You know, you thought that's what you wanted, and you have it. And it's like.
You just get tired of people.
It's like,
I'm just tired of y'all.
Like,
I can't be with you.
It's just kind of like, this is not really what I thought was going to happen. Or you had expectations and the reality hit. So it's like, oh, me and her are going to get together, we're going to go, and we're going to just have the big happy family. And then now you get together, you know, you're like, you're broke, you don't have no food. Things are just not going as you planned.
So you feel like broke and not having no food in that relationship?
No, you know, that's easy things to get through, but you know, it's just an example, you know?
Okay.
Or, you know, oh, we're gonna have kids, and then now she don't have kids, or now he don't have kids. So it's like, small things like that can really
terrible relationship.
Yeah, like not having those common goals aligned, or not having the understanding and both agreeing on that understanding can really mess up a relationship. I feel like that's why a lot of them end, is because I can't see myself growing with you, you can't see yourself growing with me, or you do see yourself, but I don't, or you don't, vice versa. It's like decent.
Okay. What you feel, Abby?
I don't know.
Oh, that was deep. That was deep. I mean, you haven't been really into the conversation anyway, but like, the question is, when you're starting a new relationship to a relationship ending, what makes that relationship end? Because in the beginning of a relationship, oh, I love you, and we this big journey together, and then at the end it's like, I want to get a divorce, or I want to break up, I don't want to be with you anymore. Why?
I still don't know.
Okay. Well, Eli, you had a lot of good, funny things, and I appreciate those funny things.
Yeah, yeah.
Those were really good. I mean, and it's true. People they go off the bandwagon on that, and they do turn different ways, and, things can be like, why am I with you? And I thought we were going to be able to have kids together, or why we were going to be on this journey together, and then you changed your mind, and now you don't want to. So those can put a big wedge in relationships. But I think you should treat your relationships like you do in the beginning of a relationship. And that is when you're in a new relationship, you talk to each other all the time, you communicate, you have a lot to, and it's because you're trying to get to know each other too. So it's not just like we just have tons and tons to talk about. It's really, I'm getting to know you, so we have lots to talk about in the beginning. But when you've been in a relationship with somebody so long, you already know each other, so you don't really need those tons and tons of questions.
Like, I already know this.
Yeah,
but then sometimes you might not actually know. So.
And also, we need to always take time to listen. It might be a stupid conversation. It might be something that you could care less about. You should always let your partner feel free to be able to have those conversations with you. And the reason I say that, because that is intimacy. So intimacy is very important in a relationship. And what happens to most relationships is they lose intimacy. So intimacy is gone. And it's hard to pull back intimacy into a relationship when there's been a lot of damage, a lot of hurt, all that. Is just a lot of issues in there. And so I think the key is to always have those things to talk about. You might not talk about everything you did in the beginning. Like, oh, we talked about this and this and this and that. And now we don't have nothing to talk about. I'm going to tell you about my day. I'm going to tell you how this nail broke. And I want you to be just into this nail breaking as any other conversation as a woman. And I'm quite sure men want to tell me about sports or wrestling or whatever they are into, cars and all that. And I could care less about, but I'm going to give him that attention to make sure he understands I'm there for him. Now, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I got to listen to this. But my face can't show it. And his face can't show when it's vice versa. And you listen and go, oh yeah, that's funny. And you act like you're into that conversation. And people say it's fake and phony, but it really isn't. We listen to our kids. You listen to your siblings talk about a lot of crap we could care less about. And we give them our undivided attention.
Too,
yeah, and you give them your undivided attention. So when it's your man or your woman, you should give that same undivided attention to them. Because it might not make sense to us, but either one of us is saying, but it is what builds and keep a relationship. Because I see a lot of people like, I was so proud of this one couple. They were so young. They were together in high school, and then they got married, had kids, bought 2 houses. They worked like 4 jobs each, and 2 of them they were working together. They were passing out newspapers and, door to door, doing all that stuff, and with their regular job and stuff. And I think somewhere in there, one of them just felt like overwhelmed with too much. And I don't think she knew how, or he, I'm going to say, how to express that. And so got addicted to gambling, when in reality it's like she was missing that connection, because we've been working and hustling and being together, that we worked ourselves apart from each other. And that's why you got to be careful not to work yourself apart, Your job should never be more important than your relationship. Money should not be more important than your relationship.
Yeah.
So you look at stuff like that, you analyze it, really take heed. And when you're in a relationship, look at other people's relationship and go, no.
Go uno.
Uno.
Go for
I don't
yourself.
care if it's a good relationship. I don't care if it's definitely a bad relationship. And it's a social relationship. Say uno. Because it's not you. A lot of people try to mimic a relationship and that ends a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I always want to talk to intimacy with kids because I want you guys as kids to know, and hopefully kids are watching, to know intimacy is not sex. It builds sex and makes sex better, but intimacy is a connection that we have with everybody in this world. And some reason we lose place when we're in a relationship with our partner. And that's something you don't want to lose, is that intimacy. So like what you were saying, a building, or you wanted to have a kid and the person changed their mind and didn't want to have a kid, if you talk and you guys are connecting, because sometimes people might have a really rough childhood and don't want their kids to go through that, and that's all they can get past in their head. Or like me, I didn't want to go through the pain of pushing out no dang baby. Do you know how hard that is on the body? And I don't like pain. So yeah, that was my question. I thought my question was all right.
Yeah, that was a really good starter.
Yeah, but y'all didn't join in the conversation that well. You did, but Miss Thing over here, she got that gum though. You have a real intimacy with your gum. And you guys are connected. But you lose the intimacy with us. As we're right here. We want the intimacy as you got with that gum. So this is how relationship ends. She's not even trying to be in a relationship with us.
Well, I mean, I don't really know. Like, that's why I couldn't answer your question because I've never been in a relationship. So I don't know how it ends.
Well, I'm just saying, have you seen people in relationships that ended, right?
Like common problems, you know? Like,
You don't have to be in a relationship to see stuff.
No, like I see stuff, but it's not common problems.
I'm just saying, like, things around you, like, why?
There's a lot of people's relationship end over stupid stuff. You don't rarely get anybody in a relationship that ends over something that's brilliant. Like, wow, I see why you're into that relationship.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, you don't get those. You always like this. Huh? What? Why? Some people I just want to shake.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little more than shaking. You start
Oh,
talking
well,
about
it
that.
is? Yeah. Because I need to wake them up. You just slap them and wake them up. Not like a slap, like a...
It's like a wake
I'm
up
gonna
slap.
wake you up. Why are you doing this? Yeah.
Okay. So that's getting a little, you know.
Whatever, Elijah. I'm only going to choke you 2 or 3 times.
You know.
Whatever, Elijah. Okay, you guys do what your question. I have my question, and apparently I thought we were going to talk about it for a while, but...
I really feel like we could, talk about that for a bit, because even what you said, and like, just, the whole kind of conversation of what goes wrong in a relationship, or what stops the love or ends it, and all that cause the separation. That's a, broad spectrum.
It is, and intimacy is a big portion of it, but you got some people where, I'm going to say more of men, but women do it a lot now than they did back in the day. Selfishness.
To what extent?
That selfishness is a big issue in relationships where guys feel like everything should be catered around them, their way or no way. It should be this way. And really, if the girl doesn't understand that she's not really down for him. You have more of it where it's more guys doing that than it is girls, but girls do it too. I'm going to take that away.
Yeah. No,
But
it's like, I feel like you kind of got to make compromises and things.
But some guys don't, and they just
Some
want a
people
girl
are-
a girl to agree with them and do what they want them to do, even if it's some stupid stuff.
But at that point, then it is like, I would say just in the relationship, because you're not going to get what you want if that person isn't like that. They ain't going to heed to your every call. just end the relationship, because chances are y'all both could find something that will cater to whatever you need. I mean, it's not gonna be easy, but it will happen if you are searching.
And that's why we know you haven't been in a relationship.
I mean, because it's
not easy to end a relationship.
It's not easy to end a relationship.
So when a woman is in love with a guy, and I'm gonna say vice versa, and they are down with that guy or girl, and that guy or girl say some stupid stuff that's selfish or whatever, you want to believe the person that you were dating in the beginning is coming back. You just wilding out at this moment. And you want to really believe that this person is.
I understand that, because I've seen plenty examples of that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, because it's easy to say when you're on the.
Yeah, because you ain't in love with the person.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. It just needs to pretty much end at that point, because, I mean, it doesn't have to end. You guys can communicate on it. But if you guys are stuck in that lane, I don't really feel like there's no progression to, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really do agree with you. But I'm just saying,
not that easy,
when you're in a relationship, it's hard to end it. Especially because a guy or a girl will be like, so you going to be like everybody else and leave me?
Yeah, and they'll play
and they play that manipulation role.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and it's hard. Because you made a promise to say, I'm not going to be like everybody else.
This is what's his name did. What's her name did. You just like me. And you start saying stuff like that, and it's like, ooh, chill out.
And then it's hard, because he's like, I gave my word I wouldn't be like them.
Mm-hmm. Then you start thinking.
So then you stay with them because you gave your word. And really it's just an excuse to stay with them, because when you break up, your heart is torn in so many pieces that it's like, you don't see the mending process coming together.
While you're saying that, how you feel about the manipulation that is constantly?
I think it's horrible, but I think you need to, the moment you see manipulation, you should cut it out. Like, stop it right there. Like, no, you're not going to manipulate me in this area. You're not. Because I have friends that try to manipulate me, and I be cracking up because I'm like, you're not manipulating me. I can care less. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. Go ahead with your bad self.
You won't let me manipulate you. I'm trying to get some cookies and stuff like that, and it's not working. I'm just saying.
Because you don't like God fast food. I'm just saying.
And see, look. Manipulation right there.
Who?
You know how.
You manipulate me. You a manipulator. How you gonna tell me I'm manipulating?
I'm saying, okay, you're manipulating too. I didn't make a video talking about don't manipulate. I'm gonna try not to manipulate. I didn't say that. I didn't say nothing.
Oh, so it's okay for you to manipulate?
I didn't say it's okay. I didn't say.
But how am I manipulating you?
Because you're saying, you're trying to make me feel as I don't want your cookies. You keep instilling this message that I don't.
So now brainwashing.
Yeah, you're trying to brainwash it. It's manipulation. You're trying to say enough that I think to myself, I really don't like those cookies. But you're not gonna get that.
But you did. I'm gonna tell you what you said. Said, don't you dare make the meat pies and more cookies for me. That's what you said.
I don't know about that.
That's what you said. And then you said, I put my foot down. And you did that.
That's not my move. Oh my goodness.
And I was really shocked. I was like, oh my, he done put his foot down. And I said, I'm gonna have to get him. I think I'm gonna choke him up when I put his foot down on me. That's what I said.
How dare I put my foot down?
Oh, well, why don't you?
But yeah, I feel like manipulation, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people, they don't really, they don't realize they're being manipulated.
And they don't realize, then there's people that don't realize they're manipulating folks.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, how do you stop that? You
have to appreciate people's yes and no's. Period. Mm-hmm. And that's so hard. It's easier said than done.
When somebody says no, and it's like, dang, like.
Yeah, because you want to be able to say, why? Mm-hmm. Why are you telling me no? As much as I done for you, you gonna tell me no. The moment you say, as much as I done for you, you gonna tell me no, manipulation set in. There's a manipulation, so then they feel guilty, and then they do it, and they're not doing it from the bottom of their heart. They're doing it because you guilted them into doing it.
It's not sincere.
So then
I feel like a lot of people do that. Like so many people do that, and it's not really just a relationship, like.
Are you staring at me?
Yes, because you are not participating in this conversation. Do you not want to be here?
You guys are talking amongst each other.
Because you're not saying anything.
But I'm supposed to just. Oh yeah, so yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, yeah. I agree.
You have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Since our conversation was boring,
I didn't say it was boring.
you know, you
I'm
look like you're
listening
bored.
to
I'm looking at you
everything.
like you don't pick up stuff.
I'm listening to everything.
Okay, so obviously I'm participating a second time that we doing this live.
I participated last time. I'm participating
No,
this
you.
time. Because y'all was arguing over him saying, oh, God, no.
Oh
That
yeah.
had nothing to do with me.
But you could have been had your mama's back.
No,
That's what you could have did.
don't say that to my mom. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so in T ways. But yeah, manipulation is horrible. And no,
You manipulate people.
huh?
Did you manipulate?
I do. I said I'm trying not to. I didn't say I was successful at it.
See, look at people be making whole videos talking about manipulation so bad. You know what?
Don't manipulate.
You might be manipulating somebody right now,
Yep,
and then
I manipulate.
they might be manipulated. They might be. This is just allegations, allegedly. This is what people be doing. You know.
But no, it's hard not to when you've been doing this so long, because like you
Yeah,
don't
no, I
really
agree.
know if you don't pay attention to manipulation. You just feel like I'm talking to my kids, or I'm talking to my husband, or I'm talking to my sister or my friend, and I've been doing this for so long that I'm not, because you're not the manipulation that I was even talking about. It was both pretty much. You don't want to manipulate. You don't want to knowingly manipulate. And then you have to stop on this, which you normally do, which is actually manipulating. If you're really trying to change somebody's no to yes to fit your category. But it's hard because you've been doing it so long. But you want to. But what I hate is if I try to manipulate you and guilt trip you into doing what I want you to do because I want you to do it my way and my way only. And it's a hard thing. Like, especially when you're a mother with your kids, it's hard to separate the two because literally you're in my house, you follow my rules, I'm training you and guiding you to go to the next level. But then there's sometimes in there, as a parent, we can manipulate you when we don't need to be manipulating you. It's not a teaching moment. It's not a thing in that area. So it's kind of hard to even know. So you sound like you're contradicting. But if I don't say what I'm saying and you take that as manipulation, you're taking away my rights of parenting.
You feel like that's a connect to communication as well? That's how you communicate it. It may sound a certain way and you not really realize it, or you may go.
But sometimes it can be exactly what we want it to be. I'm saying this because I want you to do this, and you're not doing it because blase blase. So now I'm trying to bring something in your face to make you understand the importance of what I'm trying to tell you to do. Then there's the other hand where I'm like, I want you to do this because it makes my life easier to do
So
this
it's like,
this way. Plus, it has no learning features. It's just, I want you to do it because it benefits me. You're my child, and you're my child to benefit me. That's the one you got to make sure you don't cross that line. Because your kid is not something that's there to benefit you in. You had your children, so
You're supposed to
basically,
benefit them, not the other way around.
not even benefit them. You're just supposed to be a mother and guide them to be the right way. You're supposed to be a dad to guide them in the right direction to do what they do. There's a lot of things that have benefits. Some people, and it's really, like I said, it's a thin line because some people have rules that they just was raised with. So they're just giving it to their kids, and they don't know what the benefits are. And then when a stranger come around and say what the benefits are, they're like, I didn't even think of that.
I'm telling them to do this.
And I'm telling them all the time, I already know that. So just like, I know everybody can relate to this, whoever ever been to church. If you ever been to church, you can relate to this conversation. You know when you go to church and you got to go to the bathroom and you're going to go do something and you put that little one finger up? We don't know what that is. And I've always said, why am I hiding behind this one finger? Like, because I put this one finger up, you don't see me getting up walking, but I was supposed to be paying respect. But at the time, that has something to do with racism and stuff. But we carry that one little finger thing from racism and all that to this day. People still all they want to figure out. I be wanting to smack their fingers because I'm like, stop holding your finger. We ain't slaves no more. But it's
And
because
like that is instilled.
it's instilled in us and we don't know. Like, I see a lot of parents be like, they don't make their kids do chores. But that's their first job. That's their first work habits. That's their first ability to be on time, do their work, do their stuff, going to school, all that. Those are part of their everyday life that they're not going to like when they get older. So when they're tired and don't want to get out the bed, they remember, I got to, because I had to still do my chores. I had to still do my homework. I had to still do this no matter what. We don't instill that in our kids anymore. So it's things that we take out that we probably should leave in, and there's things we leave in.
I mean, I feel like, you don't really have like a rule book or anything like that, so you don't have any guidelines to really follow.
So you perfect mama,
so you just make your mistakes, you see what works. But at the same time, though, you gotta acknowledge certain things, because it's like, you could be doing something and you know you're doing something, but you're not gonna try to not do it. So it's like, you gotta acknowledge that you're doing whatever you're doing.
So which one would you guys like better? Would you like a mother or father who have their rules and they're set in their ways with their rules, right? Regardless if they're beneficial or not, they're set in their way, and having that quality time with you? Or would you want your parents, mother, father, or whoever, boyfriend, whatever your parents is with, be in a bad relationship that scars you for the rest of your life and you don't even know it scars you? Because see, those are things that happen too. Which one's worse? Because kids always say, you ruined my life, but which one do you think is worse?
You rephrase it.
So you know how we do the manipulation, the whole reaction to one thing and how we say it.
Yeah.
And it could be wrong or it could be right, and we sometimes don't even know why we do it. We do it because we were raised. Or have a parent that's in a bad relationship.
So would you rather have like a super stickler type, what you're saying, and then, or have like one that is more loose but is, has all this?
I don't even know, because sometimes sticklers be in bad relationships too.
So, well, then, like, I mean,
which one would you choose? Because see, I always in my head, I always think in my mind, when I look at something, I would rather my mom be strict with me than my mom being in a bad relationship, and that's what I saw my whole life.
I mean, how you compare that, though?
Well,
because it's like, you can have a strict parent, but then it's like, they can still be the same way.
Well, being a strict parent it guides me, I think, to be a better person.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but my mom being in a bad relationship will give me enhance to be in a bad relationship.
Yeah, I'm saying, how does that? Couldn't a strict parent be in a bad relationship?
They could be. They could be.
I mean, there's benefits.
I'm just asking you, which one would you think is better for you as a child?
As a child, well, I mean, everything is, as a child, early development is really, really, really important. The fundamentals, everything you learn as you're young and you're brought up, is what you're gonna pretty much reflect on and be when you're older. So, I mean, you can change stuff, and of course, later in life, but what you see is usually how you become. You pick up stuff off of what you see from other people, strangers, all that, maybe media, movies, all that. So if you're seeing, a toxic type of relationship, of course, that is somehow going to bleed onto you. Whether it might not be a big thing, but it could be, something small, some toxic trait that you picked up, and now you're living life having to realize, for one, that you have this toxic trait, and for two, to try to dissolve it. Whereas you have strict parents, you're always told what you need to do. There's also the problem that comes with strict parents is like the resentment. You see a lot of people that have super strict parents later in life. They're like, or maybe not later, as they kind of grow into their, like early 20s to probably, 30s, not early 20s, their 20s to early 30s, they kind of feel some type of way, they're like, I'm finally free, and they think about all the stuff that their parents have them do. They never got to do certain things because of this or because of that. It also comes the problem of when you have super strict parents, you see a lot of people go crazy. They wild out because they've been strict and told to do this for so long. Then it's like, ooh, now I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want. So it's like, oh, I don't want my son to have candy. You can't have sweets like that. So now he's 18. His teeth are falling out because now he's, overdoing it because he could never do that in life. So there's nothing good that comes out of a toxic relationship and, having that in a parental setting. But there is positives and negatives to strict parenting. And it really is just like when you have parents and you have, you're becoming a parent, the biggest thing is striking a balance between too much and not, you want your child to live and do certain things and experience certain things and make their own mistakes, but you also want to prevent it. So it's kind of hard to find that balance. You don't want them to do what you did, but you also don't want to, give them that freedom to do what you did. So then it's like, so some things are, you just got to understand your child is going to do whatever. And all you can do is let them know.
And it doesn't really reflect on you.
It doesn't reflect on you.
When your kids are adult and move out, what they do, it doesn't reflect it. They're going to see the world regardless if you're strict or not strict. They're going to see the world and view it and do the things that they want to do in order. There's nothing to stop them from doing. So you just don't hold it against yourself.
And that's really, just do your best during that development phase. And it's like...
You never say which one was worse, though.
Well, obviously the toxic, because if you have just any type of relationship or any type of, thing like that, that kind of has long-lasting effects. Whereas, a strict parent, I've seen people, it's not like it's going to guarantee happen, but you have a strict parent, you'll later in life see people, respect their parents for trying to not have them make that mistake. So they'll start to see what their parent was trying to do, whether they were too strict on it or not. They'll understand, they were just trying to save me from doing this. They may have made the mistake and then it just was having good intentions, but just going about it probably the wrong way or too much, Whereas a toxic relationship, that's just a toxic relationship. There's nothing really good coming out of that for either way. Some people stay in relationships, say, you're married and all that. They'll stay in that toxic relationship. The kids want them to leave. So it's like,
it's basically the selfish need. They blame it on the kid, but it's really them who want to be in the relationship.
There's nothing really good that's going to come out of staying in something that is not
toxic.
growing.
So you want to grow your relationship, you want to build off of a positive relationship.
That overall, that's what you really, the ideal thing is, especially for your kids. They're seeing things like this, and it's like, what do you expect? Them not to act like this or not to pick up what that person was doing to you or you were doing to that person. It's like it's bouncing back, but it's also bouncing
forward.
So
either way, you can mess up your kids. But you mess with kids being too lenient too, so you really don't have an end. You can't. There's really not a way to win in this situation.
That's the difference.
But I always tell people, if you're in a relationship, don't think about yourself, think about your children. And I have not seen a parent say, I don't want my kids to see me in a relationship like this. I'm gonna leave this man or woman alone.
But I feel like it's kind of hard to do because at the same time, especially if you're married, for instance, right?
There's a man.
Think,
I wouldn't be great.
People think, I want my children to see that, marriage is the way to go. I don't want them to be, maybe not doing stuff to a marriage, maybe, you know, just want them to be married. You know,
but that makes a kid not want to be married even worse if you're in a bad relationship.
But mentally, you know, you're justifying it as this.
Because it's a selfish
need. It does come
need.
back to selfishness. Yeah, it does come back.
It's a selfish need to stay with your man over anything else. Because I always think if I wasn't in a relationship, because I remember when I was dating, and if the guy didn't, my sister didn't like the guy. That's not my child. She's my sister. She didn't like the guy. I would leave the guy alone. Like I don't care how we could date. But I don't think it's gonna go anywhere seriously. I'll continue dating because it ain't going nowhere serious. But if I thought it was gonna be a true relationship and my sister didn't like him, it wasn't. I ended because I'm not gonna put myself in that predicament. Because it was really strange because my sister liked everybody. So she didn't like it, then I was looking at you kind of strange.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
Yeah, but nowadays, no, people pick their feelings and their love, even don't care how abusive or a relationship. And abuse is not just a man or woman hitting them. And yes, women do hit men, and women are abusive just like men are. But I just feel like you should not put that in front of your kids. Because I always tell women, if your child dated somebody like him, or her, would you want them to stay in a relationship? No, they'd be right out of been here.
The best way to really.
But they still stay.
Well, I mean,
my thing is, yeah, now I'm like,
so it's like,
so then when your child goes to that, then you shouldn't say nothing because you showed your child that's the type of man or woman you want your child to be with.
But then at the same time,
you set an example.
They shouldn't say something. They will say something.
They don't need to.
No, they will though. You know, people. I mean, for example, I know me personally, but I'll say this for everybody. You'll do something, and you feel like, oh, you could do it. You see somebody else do it, you just find it just so repulsive. It's like,
yeah,
that's so like that's so annoying. That's so terrible. Like that person was doing that, but then at the same time, you may have been doing that. So it's like, in that instance, it's gonna be the same repeated type of behavior. Like,
yeah,
that's. You know, because by that time, you know, you may even get out of that type of thing, and then, you know, still have that type of mentality. I mean, people do that with church all the time. They'll be talking about, oh, you know, they'll do whatever they do, and then they finally feel enlightened or better than, and then now they're talking about stuff that they was doing. It's like the same thing. Like a lot of people are just like that. A lot of people are just.
And
hypocrites.
And yeah, they are. And I just feel like, you know, we want to set a good example on, like, your age. Because, like, if you guys start a relationship in this age, do you know how to be in a relationship? And what guides you into that relationship? Because even when you get older, say, okay, I did all this when I was younger, and I still haven't learned anything. What example do I have to say I need to stop doing this damaging to be in a better relationship?
I mean, I feel like you really just have to feel it through.
Because, like, I have kids. I know, it's shocking. I have children, and I look at their dating, and I'm like, I don't try to hurry up and be the man that I raised you to be. Like, that's what I have. But at the end of the day, I'm still there for you, love you, and that's it. And yeah, keep me out of the loop because I'm going to have something to say. I'm not going to hold my tongue. So I think about that in relationships. And I think people should talk about it in schools, in church, in all settings where there's a lot of youth. And I think because relationships are not just with your partner. You have friendships. You have a relationship with your family. You have a relationship with associates, business people, your co-workers, and you really need to learn how to deal with each relationship in its different entity. And understand that you're not fake, or somebody's not fake because I have a certain type of relationship with this person over here, and I have a certain type of relationship with this person over here, and it's nowhere near the same. So it looks like I have two different personalities, but I have more of a connection with one than I have the other. So I have more freedom to be me with one person than I do with another person. Like I have people I talk to all the time. and I've told you this many times. I don't have nobody I can pour my heart to, my heart and soul to. I don't have nobody I can tell my secrets to or pour my soul to, because everybody I know got big mouths and they ain't gonna tell it. They ain't gonna tell it like they ain't never told it before. So it leads you into that limbo. Then when you do have somebody, then everybody's looking at that, why that person more, because you can tell your secrets to or whatever. But it's a relationship that just moves, and whoever you connect to, it is. So I could connect, oh, this is my baby, I can connect to her. My nephew, I can connect to him. This is you, can't connect to you. Oh, this is, okay, I wish I could connect to you, but I can't. You have those relationships.
I mean, I feel like that's just how things are.
But
right?
you learn that from, of course, going through trials and tribulations of your own, and then also from what people said in front of you.
Yeah, well, most definitely people say in front of you. I mean, yeah, because you'll see, they be like, oh, that's my best friend. Then you talk to that best friend, and that best friend talking real bad about the other person. So it's like you see that, and relationships are, I mean, like.
And I talk about my friends. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I do, but I'll tell them too. I just sometimes have to calm my nerves down to tell them. But I talk about my friends. I said that when I was on the show with the one lady, and they were saying that don't do that. I was like, ooh. I talk about my friends. Cause I'd be mad.
I mean, I feel like
do.
if it comes from, depending on where it comes from, because you'll have a certain type of relationship with someone.
Yeah.
So you might let this slide for someone, and you might not let this slide for that person. I know, me personally in life, I've had friends where I'd be like, I know they would tell something, so I will know what I would want to tell them, and I'm fine with that. Whereas if this person that I started telling stuff, I know how they are, they start saying stuff behind my back, I'm gonna feel some type of way.
Yeah.
So it really it depends, and a lot of people don't really realize, but how you build a relationship is really important. You may be doing too much, you may be giving too much of yourself, you may be.
Well, I tell stuff, but you gotta understand, it's like relationship. If somebody tells you something or somebody shows you within their action, please listen and believe it. Because I tell people all the time, when I'm mad, I'm going to vent, and I'm not venting to you first. I'm going to talk about the situation, which might mean you're getting talked about like a dog. But best believe I will come back and tell you what I said. Best believe. But I want to come back to you to tell you what I said so you can take it in. Because if I come to you angry, you're not going to hear what I have to say.
Okay, so on that note then, would you be comfortable with that same person that you're telling, if I had to vent out to someone to, if they were like, I understand that, could you not vent to this person?
Well,
or would you not
I can put it this way. I only vent to 2 people, and you would never know who the 2 or 3 people I vent to. So you wouldn't. I don't tell my business to everyone.
You're not gonna tell it to someone.
So, and I'm not gonna. And I tried my best, and I'm not gonna say I've always been successful. But I try my best not to vent to somebody that I know don't like you, or that's gonna go against you, or that's gonna attack you. I try my best to vent to somebody who's gonna say, "Lenore, you wrong," or "Lenore, you right," but you know how that person is, so you need to twirl it around and think of something different. You know that person didn't mean nothing. Or I'm just gonna let you say what you gotta say. You just talk to yourself. I'm here to listen, and by the time the conversation over, you gonna know what to do. If not, then I'm gonna check you on it. I don't vent to everybody, and I think that's the difference. Cause like what you're saying, I get what you're saying in that, but I think those are people who use that what I'm saying and vent to everybody.
Yeah, like everybody.
And I only tell like 1 or 2 people that I'm venting to. And I usually don't tell them the same story. So if I'm mad at you and I'm venting, I don't go and tell Joe, Sam, TT, and Libby everything. I'm picking one to tell the story to and venting to. And I want that person, because I really want the person to be a neutral person. I don't want a person who's going to just take my side and agree with me all the time. I want somebody to say, okay, you're wrong. And I'm going to argue because I'm mad. I'm going to argue it.
You're arguing sometimes.
Yeah, shut up. I'm going to argue the situation because I'm mad. But it doesn't mean I'm not listening to you. But by the time I'm ready to talk to the person, I've calmed way down and I've listened to what the person that I was talking to about the situation. And I'm now breathing. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't talk about my friends or family, because I do. In a heartbeat. Like, quick. In a heartbeat.
But on that, I do feel like it comes down to your circle too. Who is, you know, like how you build up your circle, the people around you.
I don't have a big circle.
I'm saying, even not having a big circle, you have people that you could confide in. You know, you have people you could tell certain things to, and that's really important to have that.
Yeah.
Different outlets, because you want someone to be able to, you know, if you're going through something, be able to tell them this. And you know, you might not be able to tell them everything, but you can tell them just enough. And you know,
and I can learn. I learned too that some people just take your side, and I hate that. I like, even it'll be like I tell somebody something, and I'm talking to one of my associates or something, and I'm telling them something, and they just automatically take my side, and I haven't finished the story yet. They're just on my side, being against the other person. I take that as like a jealousy, like you're jealous of our relationship, so of course you're just taking my side. And so if there was something serious, you would never know, because you're gonna automatically take my side because there's that jealousy in there. And I'm gonna call it jealousy. It might not be jealousy, but I'm gonna call it jealousy because how are you mad over something that's stupid? Like I can go, you know, this heifer that came over my house and drank my tea up and then leave me not a swallow. Oh, I can't stand it. Oh, see, that's wrong. You don't just go to somebody's house drinking up that tea. Well, in my mind, when I'm saying it, I'm being
playful.
No, I'm serious about it, but I really don't care. Yeah, I'm serious about it because at this time I was thirsty, but I really don't care because
in the grand scheme of things, it's not that serious.
Yeah, but then you start talking about the person as a dog, and I'm like, what? So then it's like,
Elijah says hello.
Hi, sweetie. Oh, they're watching us on TV.
Okay, hey, on TV.
But yeah, so I don't like that. I don't want you to side with me and it be something stupid. And that's how I tell if I could tell you anything. Like if I could break something down to you, then I know I can tell you, like, ooh, I can't tell that person nothing. And
I mean, I feel like that's really, like, I say the people I do consider friends, they will, you know, they will call you out on what you need to be called out for.
Oh yeah, but people don't like to be called out.
And that's the thing. I mean, you see it with celebrities all the time. Celebrity will, you know, build up and get to the top or get where they are, and they'll surround themselves with yes men, and then they just slowly fall down because it's like you're in the echo chamber. You never hear what you really need to hear, what you really need to improve on, what you could do better. You're only listening to how great you are and all that. Then you just, you know, it's not good. I mean, us as humans, we need to hear, of course, what we're doing good so we can be in a positive, cheery mood, but also how we can improve, because really that's, what else can we really do?
Now, a lot of people don't want to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that. Like, a lot of people don't want to improve in their relationships, or they see something, they can go like, I did a good job, and you go, it's okay. Be negative. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it didn't blow my socks off. It did, you know what I mean? They just are not happy with, they're happy with what they have, but somebody else says something, it's like, it's more of a tear down than a build up to them. So you got to really know the person that you're dealing with, because sometimes it could just be the person that's saying it. Like, they don't want to hear from you because of whatever they have.
Yeah, I mean,
in their head.
I mean, I guess there's some things that I would be like, I wouldn't want to hear from that person. But
what? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there's certain things that you just don't want to hear from people.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, at the same time though, that really is just a big thing. Just having people that will tell you where you're wrong at or what you need to do, or just set you on the right track, because a lot of people don't have that, and a lot of people don't want that.
Yeah.
And then they just get comfortable. But I feel like, certain people get comfortable at certain stages of life, because if everybody wasn't comfortable, then, there wouldn't be as much millionaires, because everybody's pursuing whatever they want to pursue.
Well, millionaires tell you in a minute, they're never comfortable.
Yeah, and all of the people that you see, they don't get comfortable. They off to the next, off to the next, off to the next. Oh, I made $100 million. I'm still not going to retire. We're going to still build up, build up. And it's like,
but that's even with friendships and stuff, but not even just business, because business is, definitely.
Yeah.
But even with friendships, it's like you can build in that relationship and don't stay stagnant where you at, because you want to keep growing. If you don't have a friendship where people are pushing each other to do better, then you don't have a really good friendship. If you're in a relationship with your partner and they're not pushing you to get better, you're not in a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you're with family and they're not supporting you back and forth and y'all going back and forth, you're not in a good relationship.
You need to have that type of that banter with that person and be able to go back and forth as well, because some people will take a lot of offense to certain things, whereas you might need to hear it, but you don't want to hear it in that, and you just take offense to it.
But a lot of people don't want to hear. Again, it goes back to some people might can hear from so and so, but you can't hear from so and so, and this person doesn't know why you can't hear from them. So they still giving you an opinion, but you're never gonna listen to.
Yeah, and I feel like that's true. I know as like a child, your parents will say certain things. You'll be like, okay, yeah, of course. But then someone else you see, you may grew up with them, or you may, they're a bit older than you, and they're going through it in life. Then they say that it's like, oh, it just hits different.
Because you don't feel your parents are in the same
because you
zone
feel like
in you. You're like, oh, that was back in the day with you. Mm-hmm. Things are different now. Things are not the same. But as a parent, I always say we should always go back to remember how we were. Mm-hmm. To understand how the kids are now. Now, I can't understand, I'm just telling you, I can't understand y'all new generation.
No.
Y'all, I can't get y'all.
But it's not for you to really understand.
It should, because I'm a parent, and if you want me to help and push you and guide you, I should know something, because I can actually hinder you from whatever your abilities of being greater if I don't understand.
That's true. That is true, but then at the same time, it's like you can only do so much. People grow up years and years and years ago. It's a whole different, environment. Well, we're in the pandemic now. Imagine raising a kid in the pandemic, telling them not to do this and do this at school, and you need to wear the face mask, or having them in online learning. You're still learning.
Yeah.
So you're never gonna really get to that stage where you know exactly what you're doing.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I wasn't saying that by part.
Yeah, no,
I was just saying that. Like for me, I'm really in my mind. Because I've learned what I feel might not be what somebody else feels about me. But in my mind, I feel like I'm really a supportive mom. So like, if you are doing so and so and so, I'm going to try my best to support you. Even if I don't like the activity that you're doing, I'm going to try to go and support you. I want to be loud. I want to embarrass you. Mm-hmm. I want that stigma. That's just what I want. You might not want me to be that person, but I want to be that person. So I try my best to be the most supportive and stuff like that. But if I don't know what the heck we're doing, then I might support you all backwards or wrong.
Yeah.
And if you don't take your time as a kid to help your parents, know like, oh no, mom. See, back in the day, you played basketball like that. Now we play basketball totally different. These are the new rules, and then showing us what the rules. Because if not, we stuck. And all we could go is, well, back in my days, and we stick it to back in our days.
So.
Because if you're not taking, because kids don't take the time, they just assume like you should know, and we
that's
don't know.
That's a big problem. I feel like a lot of people do assume, but I mean it's easy to assume as well though, because it's like
But we didn't grow up with computers, electronics. Mm-hmm. Like I said, by the time we had the first cell phones.
But I mean, like.
And then we had the beeper.
Imagine growing up. Imagine growing up right now. You got tablets, iPads, all that. Imagine, kids that are like 5 years old now growing up. They're not gonna think back like that. They're gonna think, you're kidding.
Yeah, but when they have something different, they're not like right now. You guys are not in the CD era. You guys are USB and all that. Now they have in the TBWXYZ machine, and all you gotta do is wink and the machine come on. Well, you ain't used to, so you winking all the time, and you done turned on the whole house. And now you don't know which way to wink to turn it off. And so now you got to learn that because you were in the era where you were using USBs and aux and stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be something that's.
It's always gonna be something different and better. But at the same time, you still want your kids to be able to explain the stuff to you. Because I hear a lot of parents, it's like, I don't know what to do and my kids are not helping me do this. I don't know what to do. And because kids go like this. So you do this, and this, and this. You tap right here. That's it. Well, I didn't get it. Can you do it again? Oh, man. For real? And we be like...
I mean, especially when it comes to technology, it's kind of second nature. We grew up and we seeing, at least how I grew up, we did grow up and there still was CDs and all that. So it's kind of like the midway point where.
But y'all didn't really use CDs.
No, we didn't use CDs.
You grew up with CDs.
We grew up,
but you didn't use it.
That was still.
Yeah, but you didn't use it.
Yeah, we didn't. We would be like, let's get the new movie CD. DVD, not CD.
CD.
We wasn't listening to CD.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't have a CD player.
Yeah.
You did not know. A DVD.
I mean, DVD, a little bit. Like I feel like we're it kind of phased out. Probably like 2 years after.
DVD phased out because I remember buying all y'all those little mini DVD players.
It's like,
y'all can't find things to pay your. If I ask you right now, where's your DVD player?
DVD or CDs, gone. They don't. There's no. They're kind of.
And then back in about 10, 20 years, you're gonna be like, I remember when my mom gave me that. I was when my auntie gave me that. And I'm like, forget y'all, because I don't even know where it's at now.
Yeah, no, that's true. But that's just gonna be a generational thing. But I feel like what you're saying is important though, because every generation will have its struggles, and it's kind of hard to know that generation struggles without the child being able to communicate that to you. But you also have to be understanding of that too, because it's like you grew up in this generation, and this may seem so stupid to you, but this is legit what's going on, what's a problem with them.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, my mom, or for your example, you might be like, my mom and me never had to deal with that. But this is something so simple. This is something that just get done in a snap back in our time. Whereas you really having to struggle with this. This is really a problem. And it might just seem so stupid, but you have to be understanding of that.
Yeah, that's true, because that's hard.
Yeah.
Especially because we do not understand the school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a problem, you guys remember, because I gave everybody a book. When I found out they are not teaching kids how to do cursive.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and I was like, well, how are you going to sign a check? How are you going to do these things? How are you doing these things if you do not know? How are you signing the contract? Because it's not with print. You have to sign it with cursive. If they're not teaching you this in school, how are you able to do this? And there's parents that didn't even know that they're not teaching you this in school.
And that's the big thing too. You gotta be. It's just so much as a parent.
Yeah, really it is. Parents, I feel sorry for parents. Maybe because I'm one of them. I feel sorry for parents.
It's not a situation I would want to be in, especially right now.
Don't.
Because it's really difficult. It really is difficult to balance that. It really is difficult because there's just so much of it, and it's new. It's all new. It's not like this is something that's been, researched and perfected to a T. It's constantly evolving. So the world around you is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And things are being added and removed constantly. Like, for example, in schools, the curriculum is constantly being tweaked. It may not be as good in this area as this area and all that. There's so many factors. You put your kid in school, you'll think they're learning the essentials of life, where they just, by the end of the term, they're just pretty much where they started.
Yeah.
And all these life skills that they need.
That's why I believe every kid should be unschooled at least
a certain period in their life. Yeah.
Just give them a period where they're out of school and they're unschooled so they can learn life. Because what I feel bad for is when parents die and their kids are young and you're hoping somebody's going to raise your child like you raise your kids. And that's an ability. That's why I made sure all y'all knew how to cook at like 4 or 5. Y'all knew how to cook. I think at 5 or 6, you and your cousin made us a steak dinner. Because I was like, you guys got to cook. You got to be able to fend for yourself. Because I wonder if anything happened to me or your uncle or anything like that, that you guys can really take care of yourself. And parents are not teaching their kids to take care of themselves in a way that you got to fend for yourself, cook for yourself, pay the bills, do this, do that. You really need to know how to budget. You really need, those are more important than learning calculus. Now, add, subtract, multiplication, division, algebra, fractions. Yes. All the other stuff, I'd rather you learn life hacks.
I wouldn't even say all the algebra though, because some of it is really the way that it is.
Just a portion, whatever you need. I know fractions you need.
Yeah, but
I'll say fractions then algebra.
It's difficult for that as well too, because it's like, I mean,
I'm just saying they need to have a year where they learn. Because we had home economics, and it still didn't give us the that we needed to know now. All the stuff that we need to know to take care of ourselves. And like I said, and I've seen that, especially with foster kids, I've seen that more than ever. But like I said, parents are so busy being spoiling their kids. And I think you can't, and I hate when I see parents spoil one child over the other. And everybody's excuses are the age limits of the kids. And I hated that with me. Like, my kids, when they were little, they got in trouble for doing such and such and such. And then when they got older, somebody else had their kids, that the ones that yelled at my kids about it. And then, well, they're just a baby. When my child was that age, you felt like they should have been. It irritates me. It irritates me.
But it's also like, it also stems back to that type of hypocrisy type of thing. You'll see somebody do something, and you may do it, but you don't like it, but then, you start doing it. Or you have a kid, for example, you see that kid being bad, you're like, that's a bad kid. Your kid, your kid can't do no wrong. Yeah. And so when you have that mentality and you don't understand that, understand what you're doing, first of all, when that is a kid that you see and you talk bad about it. But then second of all, you don't understand that, they was in the same situation that you were in.
Yeah.
They may have actually had a bad kid and you was calling that kid out, but the way you went about it could have been better. You now have a kid and you would hate for someone to do that to your kid.
That's true. And that's true.
But a lot of people, that's just how it is.
So now you guys know how frustrated it is being a parent.
Yeah.
You want to protect your child, but you don't want to be overprotective. You want to give your kids a little freedom. You want to do that. I just, like I said, it's like teenagers are really the hardest.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to say that. Teenagers is because there's a lot of times where I have to let go when I want to hold on.
Yeah.
And I want to let go.
Too. It's like,
and I want to hold on. And then it's like then if your child veers from what you trained them, then you feel like, I shouldn't have let go. And it's like,
bad parent.
You get that.
Feeling some type of way about yourself.
Yeah, so that teenagers are really hard. But it's like, you gotta let it go so they can be able to stand on their own. And that's a hard thing, to let your teenagers stand on their own.
And watch them make mistakes. Because it's like, that's just, it may be so just frustrating for you to see that, like, I made that same mistake, but they just gotta make that same mistake too.
Yeah, I don't even have the same mistakes.
It's not even
I'm just saying with y'all teenagers are so totally different than ours. And then you gotta understand you're in this different world than what we grew up. Just like I was in a different world than what my mom grew up. It's the same, it goes all the way around, but then it's like there's some parents I just don't want to deal with. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When I look at that, there's some parents that are like, I can't deal with them and their parenting, And it's not that they're bad parents or anything. It's just that I don't want to. If our kids connect, I don't want the connection. Like friendships, or they go to the game together. I sometimes don't want my kids to go with people that I know because I have to deal with.
Oh, because you know what type of way they are.
Yeah, I know the parents.
Yeah,
It's not, I don't have a problem with the kids. I have.
And so it's like it stems down and it falls down on the kid.
And yeah, because it's
if
like.
I put my kid with that kid, it's like I already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If I say they coming over having a slumber party or something like that, it's like I really want them to be able to do this, but I know how. What's his name's mom is. I know how what's his name's dad is. He always be saying this. She always be saying that.
And they always got, and it's always my kid's fault, never their kid's fault. And they don't never, you know, they never try to take ownership of what their kids do. It's always their kid, and so I won't. Like I hate it. Like I get along with a lot of the parents of my kids' football team. And I don't have any problem. They don't put the blame on my child. It's people you know.
No, yeah, people that you.
Because, like, I can have so-and-so kid at my house all day long, and if something happens, we work it out, we talk it out. Sometimes, you know, they're of course going to take the kid's side until we talk and we have a conversation and we talk in front. But if you know the person.
But I feel like that also, too, goes back to how you form your relationship.
No, it don't. No, it doesn't do with your forming your relationship.
I feel like it does.
It doesn't have nothing to do with forming a relationship. Really, it doesn't.
It's not how it formed. I'm saying like how it's developed because.
But if it's developed one-sided and you don't know the side, you're thinking, oh, we're like this, and to find out you're like this and they're like this, it's totally different.
No, it's difficult.
So you can't. It's not a. I get what you're trying to say, but I don't believe it's that because people have a different mindset about you than they do than you think.
And I feel like yeah, because you know I may have a kid, right, and I'm I want the village.
Yeah.
And then they have a kid and they don't want the village.
But they say they want the village.
Yeah, and it's like there comes a problem because you want to make sure that you're helping out. And you want your kid to be able to go and do this too. It's
yeah,
like,
I just learned I won't do that village thing. No, I've learned I'm just not doing the village. I just, even though I believe in the village, I'm just not doing the village. I just skip the village.
What if you have people that they just make those steps?
Oh, I don't know. I never had those.
I feel like some people do though. They'll step into your life and they'll do whatever. Or they would want to.
I don't have it.
You not. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, so I can't talk about something I never experienced. I want to experience it, but I have never got a chance to experience. But I know, like, I had, like with my oldest son, me and a friend got our kids, and our kids, I don't know, something happened, and it was just automatically blamed on my child. Like, your child is over here, Mr. Perfect. It wasn't like they both got in trouble because nobody's admitting it, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't the same way I would treat the situation. And so it's like, well, then I don't want my child over there. I don't want my child to have a bother.
Even now, you see plenty of examples of that.
And that's what I said, so.
The unfair, because people have a certain mentality about their kids, and then like their kids can do no wrong. They know their kids is bad, but then they don't have that. They can.
And then you hear, then it's the problem of you don't want, people get offended, and I'm like, I have my kids. They're my kids, right? Mm-hmm. So I can deal with my kids. I don't need anybody for my kids. I dealt with them. I know when they were younger, I would love to have somebody to watch my child. Mm-hmm. And then I finally had somebody who would take one day a month to take all my kids. And then I took one day a month to take all their kids. And we did that for a while. And that was like really nice, really relaxing. But, it didn't last long. And I knew it wasn't. So I enjoyed it as it went through. But once I see that you gonna have, I don't care if my kids have a problem with you as an adult. I care that you have a problem with my kid as an adult. Because at the end of the day, you're the adult and my child is the kid. So when I see that you have a disconnect with my child, then you can't get shocked if I don't want your child next to my child.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want your child near my kid because you have a disconnect. Again, I'm an adult. I can have a problem. I can have a problem with your child, but if I talk to you as an adult about it, that's where I see how we're gonna go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
But if you up this side with your, I know my child would never do that, and I don't know what you guys are lying and trying to put it on my child. That's when I have a problem. That's when I let it go.
I mean, and you see a lot of that. Just in general, you see just a lot of that. I know I've personally seen a lot of that, and just even day to day, you'll see kids in situations like that. Maybe at the park or something like that, and they playing, and the parent is just just a disconnect, and so yeah.
I had a mom get mad at me because I wouldn't let her babysit. One, she was too young, but two, I was like, I had in my head the reason she can't babysit, and like I said, this is where you take your childhood, and sometimes you probably should wait for the conversation. I'm not gonna say I was right. I'm not gonna say I was wrong either. But I remember when me and my girlfriend was babysitting people's kids, we in our head thought we can have kids because we took care of these babies. We didn't take care of them. We just took them for a couple hours. Did some pictures that we thought we was better parents than the parents that had them. Because we felt like we did so much.
That's easy to do.
So I would never I didn't want my child babysitting because I didn't want my child to ever in her mind feel like it's easy to take care of a baby. And so she wants some kids. I'd rather her run away from trying to have kids than run towards trying to have kids. Wish I would do that with my son too, because boy, Jesus, I love my grandbaby. But I'm just saying, people have gotten mad at me because I won't let my kid babysit a lot.
I mean, I feel like it goes back to the thing that you're trying to. It goes back to the thing you're trying to steer clear of something, but then you might be provoking something. So it's like it's difficult.
Yeah.
Because you may be thinking, and you also have to think back to the back in my day type thing. Each person is different. So though you may have thought this and wanted to do this, your child or your whoever might not be doing the same thing.
No, I agree with that 100%. But I do see a lot of people who do have I've seen a lot of my friends have babies thinking it was going to be easy. But then we had our friendships were more of the village. So when one had a baby, that was our niece and nephew, and we all helped. It's when I got older and then I had a baby and I was like, hello? Where you all at? Hello? Nobody was there. Like, nobody. I mean, my child could do one thing wrong. He cried when you walked out the door. What? He cried. Yeah, so, and then, and then later on, I just learned to say, because people go, well, don't let him sleep in the bed with you. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I was like, well, he's mine. I'll let him do whatever he wants to do. Well, you're going to have a rough time with him when he sleep in the bed with you. You're going to have a rough time when he does this. And who got to deal with it? Because y'all telling me I'm going to have a rough time, but who at the end of the day is dealing with it? You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. At the end of the day, I'm dealing with it. So don't worry about it. Okay? I'm just letting you know what. Thank you. Because in my head, you're not at the house while this boy is screaming out. You ain't at the house while this. So because I remember my friend said, okay, when he turns 1, I don't want to see no bottle. That boy had a bottle until we moved. And when we moved and he got his own room and he lost the bottle, that was the last bottle he had, and he went in his room and slept in his room. He didn't miss nothing about sleeping in the bed with us. And I even bought a little taller bed, so it was like, here's our king size bed, here's his taller bed right here. And so like that, he got his own room and he was fine. I didn't have none of the issues that people said. Because again, each kid is different. Each kid is to their own. So people have all these different nice philosophies, but it might not be working with the way people think it's going to work. But I don't know. Better not have no kids. Better not have no kids. Until you like 80.
No.
Because I was talking to my grandbabies, her Yaya, the other grandma. And one thing she was saying, I love being around my kids. Like, everybody's happy about their kids going back to school. I love being around my kids. I love them being home. I love them being safe. I don't have a problem being with my kids at school. And I was like, yeah, I agree. I could take my kids on vacation with me. Like, I remember taking my oldest to Vegas, and I was having more fun with him in Vegas than I probably should have had with a 4-year-old. But it's because I already lived my life. I already grew up. So I wasn't missing anything. I did Vegas a whole bunch of times without them. So doing it with them, I did with you too. Oh yeah, you had me cracking up. You get on that roller coaster, boy. Oh, I wish I could find that as I was in the storage too. Cousin B, woo! You and it got every ugly face you can get. Oh, and the video did it too. So you got the pictures in the video. The best day of my life was you. You have cracked me up. Even with the bee and you flew out your shoes. You was scared of the bee, she was scared of Chuck E. Cheese. Oh, you guys took a bee. She saw Chuck E. Girl, she flew under that table. I was there. All things that crack me up with kids. Why would nobody want to be around their kids? It's just amazing. Even when my kids get on my nerves and I don't want to see them no more, I be missing them like, whoa. I know I told him to get out of my face. Now I want him back in my face. That's love.
That is how it is.
That is love.
I mean, I feel like that's how a lot of people are, though. They're like, oh, this kid getting on my nerves, then the kid leaving. It's like, but I feel like that's what a lot of things, though. You don't feel like a lot of people are like that?
Not in this day.
Well, okay, I'll say not in this day. Because some people just really want them to get out the way. Especially if they're having a kid young. They
like to show pictures of the kids on Facebook, Instagram,
well, because a lot
Snapchat.
of people don't really love their kids.
But yeah, but and the kid really loves their parents though, and it irritates my soul.
But yeah, they'll look like they're the best mom on social media, but then
that'd be the
only
worst.
for the picture.
It'd be the worst. And I don't show them barely any pictures of my kids, and I be loving my kids. I love me when they get on my last, and they do get on their last nerve. She over here keep talking smack, and I'm going to choke her out over here. Thank you for keeping your neck there. So I choke her on live TV. You can tell I didn't get a good grip. She didn't move my hand. Okay, so I thought that was good. I think we did good with our conversation. We went all over the way.
Question.
Huh?
Yeah, I was like on the same topic the whole time.
Well, you didn't bring up no topic when I asked you.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
What was it about? Wait, give me a second. How do you know like when you're in love? Because you said you fall in and out of love. Like how do you know when you're in love and how do you know when you're not in love?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what I mean?
I guess that's a question for me. I think everybody is to each his own. I mean, people will say, oh, I can't stop thinking about you. That's not true. That's in the beginning stages of a relationship. And that doesn't mean you're in love either in the beginning stages because you can't stop thinking about each other. You can't stop talking to each other. That is like a false perception of it. So it's really your emotion. I think you go through a stage of being in, I don't even want to say lust. You go in a stage of feeling really happy and you do love that person, but it's not an in love. Is the best way for me to say that. So you can say, I'm in love with that person, but you're really not. I think it takes arguments. It takes knowing each other inside and out. I think it takes a lot of that. I think about that person a lot in the sense of I want to be there for you and support you. You're there for me and support me even when I piss you off. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know how to say it. It's just something you're going to go through. You go through a stage where you think you're in love. Because I remember a lot of times I felt like I was in love with somebody. And I cried and boo-hooed when we broke up. But then when I really was in love with my first person I could say truly, truly, truly was in love with, it was a different heartbreak. It was a different heartbreak. And I don't feel like everybody should have to go through a heartbreak, but they do. But when you're in a relationship, understanding sacrifice and understanding respect and stuff like that, it grows. And you just end up growing into a relationship. Don't expect love to just be like the Cinderella and Snow White and all that, where it's just an instantaneous, can't even say the word, instantaneous thing. Did I say the word right? Yeah, it is not one of those things. It's one of those things that it comes really sneaky. It's like a snake that you didn't see and then it bit you. That's how it is. It just bites you. And it depends on each person of their love language.
Most definitely.
Because you could say, I could love you a certain way, but I love you a different way. And I could love, my husband one way, and I can love my boyfriend another way. There's different levels to it. I can say when I got married to your dad, I loved him, and then I slowly grew more and more and more to find out I was in love with him more later on in life. But I loved him. But at that time when we was getting married and stuff, I thought I was in love. But I loved him. And then it grew, and now I know I'm in love with him. And we have our connection and our relationship that way. But that's because my heart got broken over here that I just didn't jump into in love again. But I thought I was in love when I married your dad. But I grew into it in love. So I know it didn't answer your good question right, but it really just depends on you. Can you guys argue about something major and still want to be together? Or can that make somebody say, I want to go date somebody else because of that argument? And not a typical argument, something like just like, where it's just like, I just cannot believe that son of a biscuit did that. How dare you do that? And you arguing about it. And I'm not saying where there's disrespect. I talked about your mama, I called you out your name and all that. Because I don't think that's love at all. If a man is calling you out your name, or I'm talking about your mama or your daddy or something like that, I don't call that love. I'm saying like it's a big argument because it's big to you. It might not make no sense to the rest of us, but it's big to you. And y'all made a big argument, but you guys at the end of the day said, okay, so, hey baby, and I love you. And you're all right with it. And that you can able to let it go. Because I think a lot of people hold on to the issues because it seems so natural to be miserable about it so long. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that me and your dad do. We don't hold on to issues at all. I mean, we joke about stuff. Me and your dad argued about macaroni and cheese, and I was seriously mad about macaroni and cheese. I know it sounds stupid now, but it was serious back then, because that's all I wanted. I mean, my throat was hurting so bad I couldn't eat nothing else, and that's what the doctor said, applesauce, macaroni and cheese. And I wanted my Velveeta, and he came in with some Kraft. And then him and my two sisters and him was eating the Velveeta, and I had a big bowl of Kraft. And his reason was, that was shells. And you didn't say shells, you said macaroni and cheese. And so, my ignorant belly was like, did we go to the coast and get some shells? Or are they made noodles? I didn't understand. And so as we listen to the conversation now, it don't sound that serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it was serious.
Yeah.
It was a major argument. So it's something like that is you guys, because if you take out being disrespectful to each other and trying to hurt each other by bringing in the family and dogging them and stuff like that, a lot of your stuff is not really that big of an issue. So you gotta understand that. So how would you know if you're in love? Nobody would ever know, including yourself, until it's there you there. And you're gonna go through a phase where you go, I'm in love, and then you might think you're truly in love. And you could be in love. Or you could not be, and then you find out like, oh my God, I'm in love. Like, there's something that just tells you, like, I remember when I realized I was in love with your dad, like this. And I cussed, because I thought, what the fuck is this? That's how I was like, why do I feel this way? So, I didn't answer your question good, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's hard to really answer that.
I don't know how to answer that question. It's a hard one. It's a hard one. But the best thing I tell you, if you ever get in a relationship, is to go one day at a time with your relationship and don't have any expectations. Leave expectations out of it, period. And just go with the flow. Respect each other, listen to each other, and keep the intimacy always going into the relationship. And don't disrespect each other. Don't pull nobody else in there. When you get in an argument, stay focused on that argument. I say that to everybody, nobody listens. If you're arguing about milk, stay the focus on milk. Don't bring up, well, okay, we're arguing about milk, but remember with the cream cheese over there? No, we stay focused on the milk. And then let it go. Once you're done with the argument, let it go. Now you can bring it back just to play around with it, but let the crap go. And a lot of stuff that people think that I should be really mad about your dad about, and probably vice versa, we don't get really seriously mad about those things. So it's each year we get mad over stupid stuff. Now you're not gonna carry my phone downstairs for real? Like, that's just stupid to me. That just doesn't make no sense. But you won't carry my phone down. That's how stupid arguments are. And we be serious about it. And we happy. And then 5 seconds later we're talking. You've seen us argue. It don't last long.
Yeah.
But that don't mean that'll be how y'all relationship is, and when you're dating whoever you're dating. That's not gonna be how you guys are. You guys have to build with whoever you're with and have your own weird and quirky stupidness when you ever get in a relationship. And keep people out your business.
Oh, you really got mad about that. Why do you feel like you need to keep people out your business?
Because people always dragging people in their business.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a relationship to last, keep people out your business. Like, literally, like, when I talk about me and my husband's relationship and I'm really going through, I might have talked to one other person, but I literally only talk to my mom. And that's because I know my mom is very neutral. Like, she's neutral. So, and even if I'm wrong, even if I'm right, she gonna tell me to go back and fix it as if I was wrong. And she'll say, you're right about what you're saying, but yeah, you need to go back over there and talk. She's very neutral. She don't go, oh, that's my baby. Oh, don't be dogging my baby. No, she's never like that. She's always neutral. You could talk to somebody, but talk to somebody who you know has your back just as much as has your partner back. What the hell? That's the serious one right there. Keep people out your dating business. I'm serious. If I ever find out you guys in a relationship with somebody else and I hear y'all telling somebody else about your relationship, I'm gonna kick your butts. I'm really serious too. Yeah, serious. I don't care if you are only 2 years old.
2 years old?
Well, you know, if I say the real age, y'all might have time to date somebody, so you're gonna stay 2 for the rest of your life.
Oh, wow.
So you can't never date. You don't have to worry about all this. Mama, auntie knows best. Had to hit both of y'all on that one. Yeah. That's the number one killer in relationships.
Understood.
Okay. Try me if you want to.
Understood.
Anything else? That was a good question that I didn't answer.
Well, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go. Cause I done nailed this. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you
More
next
lively,
week.
and somebody will have our stuff put up earlier so you guys will know we're on a live.
Somebody will. Somebody will have that up. Somebody. That person will have it up. Wonder who somebody is. So like she said, somebody will make sure that it's up. Somebody. Body some.
Yeah, so Elijah will make sure to have this up.
Oh, you're getting personal. I thought we was talking about somebody, not talking about.
Because you are somebody, but you was acting like it wasn't you.
You getting personal. You said somebody. You didn't say my body. You said somebody.
Well, then I thought you were going to take ownership of it. But no, you over here acting like we're going to find that somebody. And so I want everybody to know you are the somebody.
Okay, I'm the somebody.
And you're going to have it up, letting people know that we're going to be doing a live on
Somebody
Thursday.
finna do all that. Somebody finna make sure that's all done.
Y'all, he playing with my emotions, y'all. Y'all gonna see a murder on death row over here.
Somebody. I mean,
Y'all thought Suge Knight was tough. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Don't play with me. I ain't for playing. I am not for play. So Eli's gonna have it posted so you guys know that we're up and running. Please come and support us. And thank you. And remember to love and live each day as if it were your last. Smooches.
Smooches.